Hey everybody, it's Mr. Delusia here with the weekly Devblog update. Today I'm showing off the movement physics, going into detail with that and the bullets. So that I added a bunch of new guns. There's still a few base ones I have to do, and then there's going to be all different types of versions of those guns, and as well I've done modifiers, so I'll be going, or some of them, so I'll be going through that. So this might go for a bit longer. I'll start off showing off a lot, like this one, which has a few. So this ship, it's got the new movement as well. If you saw the other two short videos, you might have noticed the stress test of the bullets. I've changed the guns from that video, but because I was testing the missiles, because that was the last weapon I just added. So yeah, like two machine guns you see there are the hydrogen Viperine Vulcan, which is the green one, and the other one's the usual magnetic cobalt Vulcan, which is better, has better aim than the hydrogen Viperine one. So yeah, like if you saw there, the green ones, they go all over the place. That's an accuracy modifier as well. They curve, so that's got a curve modifier there, the base modifiers of the gun, and the same with the missiles. So they kind of go around like that. That's the curving modifier. So I'll probably have them with an acceleration vector as well, those missiles. So they start off slower and then they speed up a bit. But yeah, I have to add like missile effects or something because they look pretty plain. So yeah, that's some of them. There's this, like this is a ship. This is a ship you'd have near the end, you know, with 8 mount points. So it's kind of pushing it to the limit. Because yeah, in that stress test, I was really. I'll just put the. Yeah, in that stress test video, if you saw it, I was really trying to push the limits. So, and one of the limits I had was when there was 8 beams equipped. Because how I've got the beams working, they kind of just make a heap of different bullets. Because the way I wanted the beams to work, I couldn't get working at the moment. So they're kind of shooting a mass of bullets. And then when there was heaps of enemies, it was going for each enemy, for each bullet, so it was really pushing it to the limits. But since as well, so the beams work differently than all the other bullets. So all the bullets, if you shoot, you'll see the bullet image rotates based on the ship rotation. Now, to keep the bullet from, so if you shoot, and let's pretend the bullet's still there going upward. So yeah, say the bullet's going upward, say the bullet's here, and I turn. If I used one image for those bullets, they all would turn with the ship, and that's obviously not right. So what I had to do was create a new image and load it every time a bullet is created, which is very, like that's very resource intensive. So what I had to do, like with these, I've kept it like that because the bullets move pretty quick. They get taken away quickly. But with the beam, because it's creating so many in one tick, the game couldn't keep up and it was lagging, especially when there was a lot of enemies. So all the beams are using the one image. So that if you notice, which it's pretty hard to notice, all the beam bullets, well, this ship doesn't have it, but all the beam bullets will rotate with the ship as well. And that's, yeah, because I'm using the one image, and that's because it's a lot less resource heavy. So that was one of the ways I've sped up the game with the beam, because I really want that beam in there. And then the original way I wanted to do the beam was when you held the left click or whatever down the firing button, the beam would appear, you know, and hold there. It would just be an image. But I was having issues with rotation and something like I've fixed the alignment a bit better. If you notice, probably from the last video, the alignment seems a bit better. Like it's still a bit off, but when with the beam, the original one, I had it even with the rail guns that I'm trying to add. The bullet image was really long, and what happens with that when I shot it, the alignment would just go way off. Like when you're shooting forward, it would be fine, and then when you shoot here, the beam would come here or whatever, and then when you're shooting down, it's kind of over here, and then this way it went all funky, and then so that I had to hold off for now. And then as well, the source rect wasn't rotating, so I think in the end I did resolve that alignment issue, but then the the source rect wasn't updating, so that was another thing I had to change, because even in these ones, all the source recs are staying as if the image was like this. So if you notice, like here, see that the ship collides when there's nothing there, and that's because the source rect isn't rotating. So like I'm trying to figure out with that, because the source rect, I can't rotate it like I'm doing the image, because the image just is based, you can just say, image.rotation equals, and I'm just basing it on the image position and the mouse position. So it's like a sine cosine formula to get the rotation with that. But with the source rect, there's nothing like that. It's just, you have to get 4 points pretty much. So you got your top left, top right, bottom left, and when you rotate the ship, you have to pretty much update those 4 points. And that's what I'm doing with the bullets. They're a coordinate-based position which update based on the ship rotation. So with the source rect, you have to do the same. And then create a new source rect every time, which I don't really want to do. So anyway, that's a lot of yapping on. So as well, you might have noticed the enemy ships had the health bar and the shield bar. If I go back into it, so where are they? So they've got the health bar and the shield bar now, and that updates properly. Same with yours. So I fixed that a bit as well, so it looks always on that angle. But like that's pretty much that. So I'll show off the beam now and beam test. So as well, each bullet, so like you've got this mass of bullets, which is kind of, it's not really like a beam, it's more like just a flamethrower. And those bullets are pretty basic, because if you see that, the bullets are, if you look at the bullets, you'll see that they're rotating. So that's why I've got them as squares, so it's harder to notice. Because if they're longer in one way, then it's easy to notice that they're rotating. So I've kept it like that. So that's another one of the weapons I've added, this beam weapon. Like, I might change it up anyway, but I've just got that in there for now, like that. So with that, I've got to do, so I've done now beam type weapons, I've done missile type weapons, the machine guns were first pretty much with the pulse. So all I have to do is add lightning based weapons, wave based weapons, and the rail based weapons. So like there's the three weapon types left, and then you'll have different like guns with different like say it's a beam, you got that was a I think, yeah, charged copper beam. So you'll have like a charged griffin or something, or so there'll be all these different types of beam weapons, and then each one of those weapons can have a modifier on them. So there'll be just shitloads of combinations of different bullets and guns. So yeah, same with missiles. Like you've got those missiles, then you might have ones that are more crazier. So berserker missiles they're smaller and they might move faster, and yeah, so like there'll be heaps of different combinations. Same with machine guns. So now there's the two different types. So the Vulcan, hydrogen Vibrine Vulcan, which is faster, less accurate, spasmic. The pulse, yeah. So, but yeah, and with lightning, I kind of know what I'm doing, what I'm going to do with that. And the wave is pretty much just like the pulse, except just wider. And the rail. So I was originally trying to do the rail bullets, but when I was working on that, I pretty much made the beam instead, because I couldn't get the rail working right. And then one of the modifications I did to the code made more sense that it was like a beam. So then I just started working on the beam instead. So that's the base type of bullets you'll come across. So then there's all these different type of modifiers. So like bullets might be able to bounce, they might corrode the target, they might curve, they might disrupt the target, which slows it down for a certain amount of seconds. They might electrocute the target, they might melt the target or stun. So there's some of the modifiers that are in at the moment. So I'll show off bouncing test. So this is just like the bullets bounce, and it kind of, so when the bullets hit, they update their rotation and movement by pi over 2 radians. So sometimes you might get one bullet hitting the same enemy 4 times or so. So yeah, like if you can notice, some of the bullets when they hit the enemy, they'll hit them 4 times. That's because of the rotation. Well, I'd already died. So yeah, it's kind of always rotating in, I think, in a clockwise direction. So if you hit them on the left side, they'll rotate. So if they're going here, they'll still rotate that way. Why am I dying so quick? So yeah, if they're going this way, they'll update by pi over 2 radians. So they'll go in a 90-degree angle right, and because they hit it on the left, it'll go boom and hit them again instantly, and then it'll update again and hit them again, and then the final time. But I'm keeping it like that for now because it's kind of a strength of the bouncing bullets. So yeah, like, see, it just did it crazy then. I think it's because I'm bouncing into the enemies. So yeah, like it hits it a few times there. Anyway, so that's the bouncing bullets. This is the curving. So with curving, it makes the bullets kind of, go like this. And that's the same effect that the missiles have. It just looks a bit better with the missiles because they move slower. This, it looks like, they're kind of electrical currents or something, which is pretty cool. Like, I could do it with the electric guns as well. But that's the curving test. Then another one, so I'll show off disrupting and stunning, and then I'll show off some of the other modifiers. So with stunning, disrupting I mean, it slows them down, and then they'll speed up again after a certain amount of time. Just like that. Pretty straightforward. And then the stunning modifier just works the same way, except it just removes the velocity completely. So their ships can still fire as it is at the moment, just their movement gets paused. So yeah, like I can easily add so their ships can't fire, but I'm keeping it just like this for now. So yeah, just their movement freezes. Now with the other ones, so you've got corrosive, electric and melting, and they're three different damage effect types. So if it's corrosive, it will add a ticking damage, like it's like a poison, but it will only do it to armor. So if they've got shield up and the bullet hits, then it'll just do the normal damage. But if the bullet hits to armor, it'll add a corrosive ticking modifier. So that's how the corrosive does it. And then electric, so yeah, you can see it ticks a bit there. And that's based off the bullet damage. So yeah, and I'll put the sound up again because it does have a sound. So yeah, you might have noticed as well I've changed the collision sound. So yeah, that's the corrosive. And the other one's the electric, which is pretty much the same as corrosive, except it does it to the shields. So if you notice here, it doesn't do any extra damage. But if we fly to the next area, when we get there, I'll move this button down here as well. I want to move it closer here because I think it was in the way too much there. It's kind of long without the sound playing. So yeah, like the electric will damage only the shields, and as you saw there was no damage to the armor. And then I'll turn the sound up because it's got a sound tick on there as well. So that's that one. Then finally is burning. So corrosive kind of, yeah, it's like an acid, and all the pretty much all the hydrogen Viperine weapons will have that as a base modifier. So that was to armor. This was electric, was to shield. And so based on how the shields work, how I've kind of got the story of the shields is they're a plasma. All the shields are like a plasma metal. So with the shield array, it kind of electrocharges or turns it into a plasma, and then it uses a magnetic field to keep the all the plasma at a radius around the ship. So when you have a gun like an electric gun, it disrupts that magnetic field, I guess. Now with melting, I don't know if melting was the right word, but I have it now, so that is the same as the corrosive and electric, so it does damage to both. So it's like it's melting, but it also damages the shield, so it's like, yeah, I guess it's melting the metal, but the metal's already melted in the shield. So, you know, kind of imagine it still affects the shields and the armor. But yeah, so the melting effect will apply to both. I mean, that's pretty much it anyway. It just applies to both. And that's got a sound as well. Yeah, so they're some of the effects that are in there at the moment. I'm still making more, thinking of more and more. Like all the beams, they do the melting effect automatically. So now one of the other things is the amount of modifiers that are now. So this will be a good way to show it off. I'll just ram into them because this ship can handle it. So you might notice a lot of the names of the bullets, or the guns I mean. So like large, that's an old one. Piercing, stinging, clean, fair. They're all new modifiers. So if I fly away, we'll go into the ship hangar and that, and I'll show off the last thing I've done. And there's still one more thing I have to fix with that. It's just adding it to another area. And that's the ship hangar where you change the guns. So I can show it off here. So yeah, like depending on the name, you'll get, you know, it might be a basic type of weapon. It might be a crappy weapon. It might be an advanced. If it's blue, oh, I got a rare one. Nice. Stunning Hydron. So that's a rare one. And then if it's purple, it's legendary. So that those colors update there. And they update in all the... so if we put a few in the cargo bay. So let's put a green, grey, grey, green, green, white. You'll see green, grey, grey, green, white. So that changes all here as well. And if I've updated all the information, so it shows the firing rate. So the beams have a really quick firing rate. The damage, the estimated DPS, which was there before. So it shows the modifiers to armor and shield. So this does 3 times the amount of damage to armor than it does to shield. So this is pretty strong. Accuracy 100%. And then the modifiers can add bonus effects, like, so this huge one changes the bullet size to ×3. Must have this the other way around, because that's supposed to increase the firing rate. I've got to fix that then. So yeah, like slowness, you've got 2 effects. You've got the prefix slows the bullet move speed, and it slows it again. So that might be an interesting gun to equip. Let's just unload it all. Let's see that. Oh, did we have two? Stunning. Must have. So yeah, the stunning stuns the target, and then a volt reduces the armor damage the bullet does and increases the shield damage it does. So it says the multiplier is 0.75, and that's because the Hydrogen Viper one has a base armor damage multiplier of 1.25 and base shield of 0.75. So yeah, it kind of just flips that. So yeah, like as well in the market, all the colors, and the last place I have to do it is in the ship hangar. So let's put that slow. Oh, that's another problem. The thing goes off screen. I think it's doubling up some. Like, something's not right. So let's just put all the slow ones and then let's put a blue one. You know, you got bad news, slow, not bad, cracked, they're all crappy modifiers. So here's one, stunning. Then let's have the other one, stunning. Malfunctioning of force. Baby, I haven't done some of the modifier effects yet. Volatile of inaccuracy. So yeah, I haven't done any modifiers for the engine shield and specials yet. Disrupting of lethargy. And so I haven't done imaginary yet, but that's going to be the worst of the worst. It's just going to be like doing 1 damage. What else? Scattered. Let's try that one. So now we've got like 8 new guns with different modifiers. So we could go back. I haven't even seen the double slow effect yet. That's really slow. Look at that missile, it's just barely moving. So yeah, like that's how the modifiers will play out, and all the different gun types. Now the final thing I have to go through is the thing I did first, and that was the new movement system. So this ship, this has the same engine as all the other base ships, right? It's got, if we go into it, it's got the argon plasma engine. So the argon plasma engines, oh, we can't really see it, they have a move speed of 4 ms. But now with the new acceleration update, so it starts off slow, it gets faster and faster, and then so I release and it still moves for a bit. I don't know if you can hear the key, but yeah, it still moves. It's just like a, even though that's not how it will work in space, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not really going for maximum realism. But yeah, so it's got that resistance, so the acceleration decreases when you release. So this is kind of, the acceleration speeds up and slowed down based on that move speed, but also based on the ship's mass. So because this is a heavier ship, the movement will slow down at a slower rate and it will speed up at a slower rate because of that, because it's, yeah, of its mass, as it would be normal. So if you notice the movement of this, and let's go into a smaller ship with the same engine. So the Stingers have it. Actually, no, the Stingers have the faster. The Needler. So this has the same engine, but it'll move faster because it's mass. Well, it'll accelerate faster because of its mass. So see how quicker it is to snap to maximum speed. So yeah, the engines still have the maximum speed. Oh, that's one of the modifiers. I think that's like chaotic or something. So yeah, they still... So both that last ship and this ship will move to a maximum speed of that 4 meters a second, but this one will just get there quicker because of that acceleration. So that F equals ma type stuff. And then you've got the Stingers, which just have the faster engine, so they got the max speed. So they all accelerate even faster because they've got a small mass and the fast engine. So yeah, this one's going crazy, hard to control. But yeah, so that's the physics I want for the movement at least, and then the rotation you might have seen in the last video. So yeah, that's everything now. That's everything I worked on this week. This was long, but I wanted to go into detail with all that stuff for anyone who's interested. I mean, that's what devlogs are about more anyway. So yeah, guys, that was it for this week. This next week, I'm going to try and finish all those bullets, or add all the different bullets and do all the modifiers. So what I'm aiming for is about 50 prefixes, 50 suffixes for each gun. So that's like, if I have 50 and 50, that's 2,500 different combinations of the one gun, and there's going to be like hopefully around 100 different guns. So that'll be 250,000. Well, yeah. Am I doing it right? Yeah, 250,000 unique weapons to see. I think that's a decent number. It might be more if I go crazy with the bullets, with the guns and modifiers, if I think of more different type of effects. So yeah, that'll add a heap of variety, as most ARPGs have it anyway. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing this week, just adding all that. And as well, I figured I'm going to make changes to how the warping works. So at the moment, as you docked, you select your destination, but how I'm going to have it is, so you undock and then you go into the system screen, and then you select your target, and then you'll be able to warp from the gameplay screen instead. So I'm doing it like that because with the asteroid belt, say, you go from Delusia 1 to the asteroid belt, and then when you dock from the asteroid belt, you just go into Delusia 4. So with the new way, it's just going to be you warp to the asteroid belt. You don't have the ability to dock, but you can select the next target, then you warp there, and then you can dock. So yeah, and then you'll only have access to the system map unless you fly to the hypergate or whatever for the system, and then from that you can access the galaxy map and select the next system. So that's further down the track. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this week because all the bullets and that are coming up next, but that's the change I'm going to have to all the warping and that, because I think, yeah, that'll work a lot better. I think there was another thing next on the agenda, but yeah, I can't remember. Ideally, to fix those bullet alignments so I can do the beam as I wanted to do it, but until I do that, then it's gonna stay like that, I think. So yeah, that's all I think. Yeah, so yeah, guys, hopefully in the next video I'll have all those bullets done and everything. So thanks for watching.